Well, it's been a while since I've done this. I've had quite a long and difficult time with it lately, so mainly on the when I was having my exchange year in Germany, so I haven't had a lot of time to record a video for YouTube. So, but yeah, after all that and a lot of other stuff that's been going on, I've been feeling kind of exhausted. So I wanted a little easy video to ease myself back into YouTube, and I thought, hell, why not? I might as well just stick a video in. In fact, I'm going to be sticking several videos in, because every time I go through my old room, I find this stack of unmarked VHS tapes, and I keep going. I know I've gone through them before to see what's on them, but I keep forgetting to label them up, and it just ends up with me forgetting them again. So I think we're going to have an interesting time seeing what's on there, because we do. I remember back in the day we did record a lot of stuff on VHS, because it was cheaper and more convenient than buying the VHS in the shops, especially if it was a long-running series. I mean, if you can imagine a VHS box set being the size of a small house, whereas compared to DVD box sets, yeah, I do remember it did take a while for me to get into DVDs, mainly because it was really hard to record things on them. Because I don't, but yeah, I do like VHS recordings. I think they have a couple of advantages over the digital TV format we use today. I would still say digital TV is better, especially a lot better quality. I mean, just saying that because I don't want to sound like the pretentious, nostalgia-loving person who would get an erection from a cathode ray television. But yes, it's time to see once and for all what's on these VHS tapes, and I've come prepared this time. And yeah, I think what I like about these over digital television is with digital TVs you have a very limited amount of space, and I'm someone who likes to keep a recording of a program in for a very long period of time, sort of a I like keeping hold of things like this for a long time, and obviously with limited space on a digital TV, you'd find your memory being taken up quite quickly, in which case you'd either have to delete something or, I don't know, buy a new television. So I think in that way, just having a load of VHS tapes you can always buy more of if you need to felt a lot more convenient to me. Well, here we are. The VHS player is on. Sadly only showing a blue screen of death. You used to get TV signals through our VHS player, but obviously since the digital switch over, no more. Here it is down here. Yes, this is back in the dark ages of the 2000s, where a faux metallic-y silver was considered the best colour for electronic goods to be. Going to be controlling it purely through the interface, because unfortunately the batteries in the remote control leaked. So here's our first tape. It's got the letters BBC on it, but it gives no clue as to what it is. Obviously the BBC made lots of shows. They made Doctors, they made The Weakest Link, and I think... what did they make? I think that's all they made, actually, so well, this could be anything. You'll notice we're right in the middle of what's ever being recorded by the there's an equal amount of tape in either side of the spools. Now, that's the other thing I loved about VHS tapes. I was a kid with a very pathetically short attention span, and therefore I liked the idea that you could just stop watching whatever you're watching and then come back to it later if you wanted to. Obviously DVDs did try and do that with scene selection, but it's just not the same, because you can't expect the same result when you have this, which is basically just continuous play and pause, and DVD scene selection, you're cutting it into discrete periods, so you always have to fast forward to exactly where you were. And we're off. What have we got? Oh, it's not auto. It hasn't got autoplay. Here we are. Oh, Anne Widdecombe. This is Strictly Come Dancing. The one with Anne Widdecombe. This one Strictly Come Dancing, otherwise known as Dancing with the Stars in other countries. It's gone on for many, many years, and I think this is actually one of the more recent series. Hold on. Sorry, I forgot the volume is quite loud when you play through the... Oh my god, this is the famous moment where Anne Widdecombe came in on screen. This is an amazing start to our VHS mystery tour, but yes, yes, this is probably one of the most popular reality shows in the United Kingdom, and of course it was the original version that spawned Dancing with the Stars in the USA, and this is Anne Widdecombe flying on a trapeze. This is the iconic moment of the series, so I'm very glad we started out on this. I think, yes, I remember now. My mum liked this show, but she only liked the dancing. She didn't like all the talky bits between the presenters and the dancers, and so she would record it and then only watch the recording, and then she could just fast forward the bits she didn't like. See, this is the versatility of recorded media. It's amazing that it took so long to develop the digital TV, digital TV recordings, I should say. So yes, this tape, I imagine, is basically just going to be all Strictly Come Dancing. So, oh, it's the famous tango music. Is it tango? I don't know. And so, after a brief interlude in which I was interrupted by a nosy caller pretending to be the tech support at Microsoft, we have our second tape, which is completely blank, nothing on it whatsoever. And we're going to stick that in. Ah, there we go. And oh, very poor quality. It actually looks better through the viewfinder on the camera than it does in real life. And okay, I'm getting Olympics. Oh, I don't. Is this Athens or? Oh dear. This is either the Athens opening ceremony, or... I can't believe we'd still be using VHS at the time, but this might be Vancouver 2010, the Winter Games. I'm just saying that because of the giant redwoods. Oh, poo. The battery's running out. Hold on. Right, I can't believe I forgot to charge the battery on the camera. This is now starting to turn into the YouTube video that goes wrong. I let the video here play out while I was charging it for a few more minutes, and yeah, it was the opening ceremony to the Vancouver 2010 Winter Olympics. It all became very distinctly Canadian after the trees disappeared. They had a load of maple leaves falling down, and a Native American canoe flew through the air on the backlit by a full moon. Although the guy actually on the canoe didn't look very sort of Native American. He was in a kilt and wore horns, and then there was a lot of violins, because the violins are apparently a much loved instrument in Canada, and they had a bit of a Celtic dancey thing. There's a lot of Celtic stuff on there which I didn't think made sense until I remember my Irish friend who told me that a lot of the people who emigrated to Canada in the old days were actually from Ireland. So let's see where let's pick it back up. I believe we're about to start some tap dancing. Oh, there we are. Yeah, as you can see, it's a very Celtic-y designed, and there was a lot of violins earlier. And there's the moon. I don't recognise the commentators, I'm afraid. But yeah, like I say, yeah, I think because we were having to use a lot of older tapes at this point, the quality on this is really, really bad. So yeah, not much else to say about this really. It's an opening ceremony, so a lot of interpretive dancing and a lot of nice national symbols. I do like, I like all the opening ceremonies. I think they're always very imaginative and very well thought out, and this seems to be no exception. Right, the next one's already loaded in. It's quite near the beginning of its recording, so we're not in medias res here. And okay, now that this one's finally got into focus, we can... I don't recognise this at all, but it's Robbie Coltrane doing some sort of documentary on weird customs and competitions in Britain, by the looks of things. There he is, there's Robbie Coltrane, and there's some more Native American dress, although probably not as authentic. Yeah, I have no idea what the. I've never seen this before. This is probably something not something I recorded. Tell you what, because this looks like this is either going to be a half-hour program or an hour program. I'm actually going to rewind it a bit forward, see if there's anything else on here. Well, it's something else now, but again, not something I recognise. I may just have to leave this one unmarked because I don't recognise any of it at all. Another documentary or fly on the wall thing. Now this one's a bit disappointing. This started strongly with the Anne Widdecombe and the Olympics, but now this looks like something like Air Hunter, where you sort of find your ancestry or something. Right, next one, ready to go. Oh, Eurovision. Okay, well that's yeah, I'm quite a Eurovision fan, so I recognise this immediately. This is the very opening bit for the 2010 Eurovision Song Contest in Oslo, Norway. There's heartthrob and very good singer and violinist Alexander Rybak performing his hit Fairy Tale. Yeah, and there's the stage, a bit more low-key than what we saw, what we were expecting from the 2000s, where they put LCD screens everywhere. But it's a much nicer effect, and actually made it look a lot different, a lot more distinctive to what we'd seen before. Yeah, I think at this point I was buying DVDs of Eurovision, but obviously they don't come with the hilarious commentary from the late Terry Wogan, and in this instance Graham Norton, who's been uncharacteristically quiet while during this first part. And then, yep, there's all the dancing around bits that won him the contest in Moscow the previous year. And lots more violinists, bit surplus to requirements, but okay. And, but yeah, a big star to this day, I believe, Alexander. I like the pyrotechnics in Eurovision, but I do feel it is kind of overshadowing all the things, and there's the trio of hosts. Yeah, much nicer quality videotape compared to the previous two. The audience is always madcap at Eurovision. I was there once, and the outfits were incredible. I know, unfortunately this is the most boring part of the Eurovision Song Contest, but also the most copyright light one, so let's keep going with this. Yes, the lighting people remembered their cues, and yep, loads of people with the flags. Well, yes, to be fair, they had to go lower budget because this was the height of the financial crisis. Probably the worst time you could ever host Eurovision. In fact, I remember reading somewhere that they had to give up their rights to broadcast the 2010 World Cup in order to host this. But, I mean, Eurovision's a big thing in Norway, so I doubt they minded. Sorry, just getting up off the floor. Oh yeah, they dropped that, didn't they? And there's all the countries that are participating. Oh dear, there's a bit of a glare there. Yeah, don't call yet. Yeah. Yep, there's a list of all the countries and their flags, if you like countries and flags. Okay, well, you see that there. I might be doing some more video. I've got one video about Eurovision specifically coming up later, so might put this on hold and see what. So yeah, I think we've seen enough. This is Eurovision 2010. Can't believe I didn't mark this up earlier. Might have another Eurovision video planned for later, but right now I think it's time to move on. Right, we've got 2 to go now, so let's get cracking. Yeah, so it took a while for the tracking to come in on this one. And, oh, blimey, this is, pretty bad quality again, and I remember this. This is a fantasy comedy show called Crud Muldoon. It was a late night thing, and I know, it was kind of funny. Yeah, it's not much to say about it. I mean, I kind of remember it, but it's not that interesting, I'd say. I don't know if this is the only thing that's on here, though. That's the thing. And oh yeah, the show itself had some quite funny ideas, but the main guy I didn't find funny at all. Now I remember. It was the other people. The main baddie was played by Matt Lucas, and that was done really well. He was sort of a subversion of the classic sort of villains you see in this parody of 80s and 90s fantasy shows. Let's just fast forward it a bit, make sure that's all that's on here. Yes, well, we've fast forwarding half an hour gives us this American movie, I think. No idea what it's about, don't recognise anything. A nice period dress, I guess. It's the classic romance scene where the woman pretends not to be interested and the man's overly eager. Oddly, in Britain, that gender stereotype seems to be more flipped round. You often find the middle-aged males are more averse to sexual advances. Yes, this is probably the worst tape quality we've seen today. Oh, and it's a musical. It's a musical. Oh joy. Right, moving on. Fast forwarded again. Still the same movie, but I think we might be coming to the end of it. This thing fast forwards really quickly, by the way. And let's flash some lights in for us because we can't afford a train. Oh my god. Please tell me the children aren't going to sing. Actually, it doesn't look like it's the end of the film. So I think this film's going to be taking up most of our tape here, but I don't know the name of it. And I don't know how I'd explain it to someone who might know what it is, because it could be anything, really. And there's the mother ill on her bed, and I mean, for this, because I've seen, like I say, I've seen a lot of films like this with Grandad, and this one's a lot higher quality in the set and costume, so I'll give it that. But other than that, I think we might just jolly along now. Alright, last tape. Final stop on the VHS mystery tour. Let's hope it's one of the more interesting visits. And we're off. Oh, and it's Doctor Who. Great. Let's see. Catherine Tate, Fires of Pompeii. This is the one that takes place in ancient Rome, and we have the amazing dilemma of whether the Doctor can allow Pompeii to happen, even though the fact that we know Pompeii happens means he has to let it happen. It's kind of a foregone conclusion. But actually, not thinking about that, it was actually a pretty good episode, if I remember. Quite good visual effects, and Karen Gillan was in it, and Peter Capaldi, who would both go on to have much bigger roles in the show. And is that... no, that's not Capaldi. I thought that might have been him. Oh no, it's the villain, and we're having ancient technology in ancient Rome. Fitting, really. Sort of like Doctor Who meets Monty Python's Life of Brian there. And okay, yeah, the practical effects and costumes weren't great, but I do like that the design of that magma monster. I remember thinking that was really awesome when I saw this. How old would I have been when this was showing? I would have been what would I have been? 2008, 2009. I'd have been 14 or 13, 14. Yeah, I'm a lot younger than I sound and look, and actually this effect's not bad either in the caves. That looks quite good as well. So anyway, yeah, Doctor Who. Not much more I can say about that. At least it's a somewhat interesting end to our tour. Thanks for coming along. You'll find a gift shop at the end and a place where you can go pee. Sorry, just bringing you back to Eurovision for a minute, just so we can appreciate the light-up steps and the LEDs in this Azerbaijani singer's dress. I mean, I never noticed it before, but why would you need LEDs in a dress? This is the uniqueness of Eurovision there. And according to Graham's commentary earlier, they got Beyonce's choreographer to do this, such as Azerbaijan's love of Eurovision. Not very Beyonce-like, though. Don't know whether I'm disappointed or relieved. Yeah. And stair climbing. The best part of Eurovision is when they climb the stairs, and when they do that pose. And it's all very sexual. Sexual. Yeah, I do like the way they do the backgrounds with the lighting pulsating. That works really well. Anyway, I can't keep on with this. Let's go on.